Have you ever wondered if you are the same person today as you were a decade ago? This intriguing question is at the heart of the Ship of Theseus Paradox, a fascinating thought experiment that challenges our notions of identity and continuity. The paradox takes its name from the Greek hero Theseus and his legendary ship. As the story goes, the ship underwent numerous repairs, with each damaged part being replaced one by one until none of the original parts remained. This raises a compelling question. Is the ship that has had all its components replaced still fundamentally the same ship? Brought to life by the Greek philosopher Plutarch, this paradox has kept philosophers, theorists, and thinkers occupied for centuries as they grapple with the nature of objects, the essence of change, and the philosophical implications of material existence. So the question that the Ship of Theseus presents is, if all the parts of the ship were replaced, is it still the same ship? This paradox has been a point of contention among philosophers for centuries. The Ship of Theseus Paradox asks us to consider whether an object that has had all of its components replaced remains fundamentally the same object. It's an age-old question that has sparked debates among some of the greatest minds in philosophy. Let's start with the classical thinkers. Heraclitus, a pre-Socratic philosopher, proposed a fascinating perspective. He held that change is the only constant. No man ever steps in the same river twice, he said, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. So, in the context of our ship, Heraclitus would likely argue that as soon as a single plank is replaced, the ship is no longer the same. On the other end of the spectrum, we have Parmenides, another pre-Socratic philosopher who radically argued against the possibility of any change. In his view, everything that exists has always existed and will always exist. Therefore, the Ship of Theseus would remain the same ship regardless of how many parts are replaced. Fast forward to modern philosophy, we find David Lewis's perspective known as four-dimensionalism. This theory suggests that objects are four-dimensional entities composed of temporal parts. Each part exists at a particular time, and the sum of these parts constitutes the entire object. So, the Ship of Theseus, according to four-dimensionalism, would be a collection of all its temporal parts, from the moment of its construction to its present state. As such, even if every single plank has been replaced, the ship remains the same, as it comprises all its past and present parts. Each philosophical perspective offers a unique lens to view the paradox. Whether it's Heraclitus's belief in the fluidity of identity, Parmenides's denial of change, or Lewis's four-dimensionalism, each perspective challenges our understanding of identity and change. The Ship of Theseus isn't just a philosophical paradox, it permeates our daily lives. Consider biology. Our bodies, much like the ship, undergo a continual process of change. Every 7 years, it's said that every cell in our body has been replaced. Yet, we still feel a strong sense of continuity, a sense of self that persists despite the constant turnover of cells. Are we the same person we were 7 years ago? From a biological standpoint, we're a different ship, but our sense of identity remains. This is the paradox in action. Now let's turn our attention to psychology. Our personalities, beliefs, and values evolve over time. The child you once were is vastly different from the adult you've become. Yet there's a thread of continuity that weaves through these transformations, allowing us to claim the same identity through the years. In essence, we're constantly rebuilding our psychological ship. Finally, let's explore the paradox through the lens of technology. A computer is a perfect example. Over time, we might replace every single component of a computer, the hard drive, the RAM, the processor. But when does it stop being the same computer? Is it still the original if we've replaced even one part? And if so, how many parts can we replace before it becomes a different machine altogether? The Ship of Theseus Paradox challenges us to question the very nature of identity and change. It invites us to ponder the line between continuity and transformation, between the old and the new. It pushes us to grapple with the philosophical implications of material existence, whether in relation to our bodies, our minds, or the objects we interact with daily. As you can see, the Ship of Theseus Paradox goes beyond a mere intellectual exercise. It's a lens through which we can examine our world, ourselves, and the very nature of existence. We are all ships, constantly in flux, yet persisting in our identity. The paradox is not just a question, but a reflection of our lives. In contemporary philosophy, the Ship of Theseus continues to sail. As we navigate the sea of modern thought, we can't help but notice the paradox's relevance in various debates. When we examine cognitive science, the Ship of Theseus hoists its sails. The continuity of consciousness, the idea that our sense of self persists despite the constant change in our neural connections, is a reflection of the paradox. Are we the same person we were a decade ago, even though every cell in our brain has been replaced? In the realm of personal identity debates, the paradox serves as an anchor. The question of identity over time, of whether we remain the same individual despite the inevitable changes we undergo, echoes the enigma of Theseus's ship. Is a person who has evolved in their beliefs, attitudes, and experiences still the same individual? In the world of art and culture, the paradox is the wind that fills the sails. Questions about authenticity and originality are central to this discourse. If an artwork is replicated perfectly down to the last stroke, is the replica as authentic as the original? Or does the original retain a certain je ne sais quoi that the copy just can't capture? Thus, the ripples of the Ship of Theseus Paradox continue to affect various fields of study. Its enduring relevance challenges us to continually reassess our understanding of identity, change, and the very nature of existence. The Ship of Theseus Paradox, a simple question with profound implications. We've journeyed from its historical roots, navigated through diverse philosophical viewpoints, and witnessed its application in real-world conundrums. Its echoes resonate in today's debates, underlining the enduring relevance of this paradox. As we sail on this sea of existence, the paradox serves as a beacon, illuminating our understanding of identity and continuity. As we navigate through the sea of change, we continue to grapple with questions of identity, much like the Ship of Theseus.